This is TWiT.
Hey folks, I'm Pruitt, and what do you get your favorite tech geek that has everything? A Club TWiT gift subscription, of course. TWiT podcasts keep them informed and entertained with the most relevant tech news podcasts available. With the Club TWiT subscription, they get access to all of our podcasts ad-free. They also get access to our members-only Discord, access to exclusive outtakes, behind the scenes, and special content such as AMAs, which I just love hosting, plus exclusive shows such as Hands on Mac, Hands on Windows, and the Untitled Linux Show. Purchase your geek's gift at twit.tv/clubtwit, and it will thank you every day. What's happening, everybody? I'm Pruitt, and I want to talk to you all about a nice little microphone that was sent to us here at the studio, and it is the HyperX ProCast microphone. Okay, so I've done some microphone reviews here on the network, over the last couple of years, and I've had some pretty good ones. Quite frankly, some were really, really good, and it didn't necessarily cost the same amount of money that our trusty Howe PR40, like what we have back here for the awesome TWiT broadcast network, or something like the Shure SM7B. Those are really expensive mics, but some of the ones that I've played with over the past couple years here have been quite nice and stands up to those fairly well. This one is another one of those mics. It stands up fairly well. I'm not going to say it's the best of the bunch, but it does sound quite all right. I've done a review on another HyperX microphone in the past. They've sent me the Quadcast microphone, and it was really, really, really good. Why does that matter? Well, HyperX, they tend to focus more on setting up audio for people that are doing gaming and streaming those games. Everybody that's out there playing Twitch and YouTube Live and so forth, they like to have great looking headphones, which HyperX tends to create as well. But they also want to make sure they sound good and have all the pretty RGB stuff and so forth. And yeah, that's the niche. That's the market that they're in. So they've decided to up the game up and step into a world of creating a microphone that has a much better audio interface, which is the XLR interface, hence the ProCast. All right, so I know it's not guaranteed to give you pro quality audio just because you put an XLR connection on it, but ideally, if you put an XLR connection on the mic, you tend to be connecting it to some sort of interface that's going to be a little bit better for your sound capture. And that's the case here. When I played around with this mic, I thought, this audio is good, but it's not necessarily great. So it is something that could be used in the gaming and online streaming world. You're going to get good audio from it, but I can't say I'm the biggest fan of it because this is not a dynamic microphone. This is a condenser microphone. Yes, the capsule is right here. Yes, the capsule has a very large diaphragm, and it's just going to pick up a nice wide range of frequency. That's great. But it just doesn't necessarily sound as clean to me as the dynamic microphones that we're used to using here at the network. And there's probably a reason for that because it doesn't cost quite as much as those microphones. Now, it is a cardioid pattern on here. So if I move off axis, it's not going to sound as loud off of the microphone. It's not going to pick up a lot of ambient audio as I move away from the capsule. That's good. That's great for the folks that are in the gaming world. But again, something about it just didn't quite sit well. It's going to work well for most people, but when I pulled it up in Adobe Audition and took a look at the waveform and the spectral display, I could see why I didn't necessarily, jive with it as much as I wanted to. But again, from a dollar per dollar standpoint, it's quite all right. Right now, I wanted to point out another feature. It comes with this pop filter that comes on the front of it. Again, if I put this pop filter here, you can tell that it's definitely doing its job with kicking down the plosives every time I say a word with the P, pickles, papa. It doesn't give the plosives. But I don't have it attached on here. Why? Well, for some reason, as I attached this pop filter onto the microphone, I was noticing a little bit of an electric hum, a bit of interference every time I popped it on. And we'll see that here in the waveform. But okay, so this is just a test file, just me saying check 1, 2, 3, yada, yada, yada. If I hit playback, you probably hear it now. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's just simple text. Not much to brag about as far as what's being said there. Just wanted to make sure a signal was coming across. And if you look at this waveform here at the top, I'm topping out right at around, I don't know, maybe minus 15 dBs here. That's pretty low. Well, why is that low, Ant? Well, when I decided to turn up the input gain on this microphone, I was picking up a lot of noise. I mean, just so much noise. And that's because of this capsule here. It's just how it is. So I had to try to find a happy medium to give me just enough input gain, but yet enough dynamic range to be able to crank the gain up in post and not pick up a whole lot of noise that's really going to agitate the editors here at TWiT. So you just sort of have to play around with it and find that happy medium, if you will. And if you look down here at this spectral display here, where all the purple and orange and so forth is, right here, this is the beginning of the file where there's nothing being said. Let me zoom in on it. So there's nothing being said right here, but yet there's a color coming through. So that means some type of audio signal is being picked up. What is that? Well, there's room tone, like the little fans that's blowing back there on my desktop computer. If there was a air vent blowing, you probably would pick that up. But it's basically just any type of room hum that you're going to get in a room from in the studio. And then if you look at this lower frequency here, you can see that this is like another little bit of a hum going on here, because it's a constant line going across the bottom. And if I open up this other file, this is a test file. I didn't do any speaking, but this is when I attached the actual pop filter here. Okay, so this is again the pop filter, and it literally just snaps right onto the metal bracket here that helps keep the plosives down. And look at the purple line here. It's really, really bright here. So that tells you, okay, yeah, that's a problem in comparison to this other one where it's a lot more dull. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, HyperX. You may want to look into it. It may be something I've done, but I know every single time I've tried this and taken the pop filter off, it sounds 200% better. Just way better. I just have to mind my P's and T's and so forth and any other plosive words that I speak into this microphone. Again, all right, so let's scroll down into the spectral display just a little bit more. Okay, so now this is getting into the actual speaking portion here. I'll zoom in a little bit. So again, this is me saying things, but at the same time, take a look. There's still a little bit of that noise creeping through in the background. It's not as clean as we'd like for it to be, but it's okay. This is something that's highly easy to fix inside of post. This is why at the beginning of a recording, you should give yourself a bit of a a room tone. I keep saying newsroom, and a room tone recording of just you being totally quiet and letting the microphone pick up whatever it is in the room, whether it be a vent or a fan or something like that. That will make it somewhat easier for your editing process to go in here and remove out the noise with noise reduction algorithms. And this is the same thing that's going on right there. That's just room tone that can be analyzed and removed in post. Again, I think this mic sounds fairly good. It's not my favorite of the bunch that I've taken a look at here over the last couple of years, but I think this is it's a decent mic. You can get the HyperX ProCast microphone on their website for $249 at the time of recording this video. But I got to tell you, I think a better value would be the Quadcast from HyperX. I've spoken about it before. You can get that microphone for $129. Yeah, $129 on their website. And you don't have to worry about phantom power. Yeah, that's another thing. This microphone requires phantom power. So if you don't have some type of way to power this microphone, it's not going to work. I'm using a MacBreak 3 interface, and it allows me to just hit a switch to provide phantom power without a problem and be able to capture audio. So again, this is the HyperX ProCast microphone that has an XLR input now, available on the website for $249. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on some of those other microphones I've checked out too. Be sure to check out my show, Hands on Photography, here on the network. That's twit.tv/hop. And I hope to hear from you all soon. Y'all take care.